Ready podcast, and you're here December 11th, 2025, and we're going to be going over the balanced data slate for Warhammer 40K that just came out yesterday. I wanted to try and get it in yesterday, but let me just tell you a little something. Yesterday was a lot hectic and a little bit crazy, but we got through it. We went over made it through the whole day without nobody dying. So we're all in good shape today. So that being said, we're going to get into this balanced data slate. And I'm going to go through a once over each of the items. And we're going to just hit the ones that made changes. If there's no changes, I'm just going to breeze through them real quick. If you have anything to say, if you're live in chat, please just pop it up there, and I'm going to answer the questions that I know the answers to. And a lot of this, of course, I'm going through the items itself and giving my personal opinion. I am a casual player. I enjoy the game. So I'm not looking at it from necessarily a tournament stance, but I am looking at it from a collector slash lore-based side of the game. And I do like the balance. I love to see when all these units are balanced and these armies come out on the table and all these fights are like fantastic and even and balanced, and it's a fight to the grueling end. Those are my favorite matches to play. And before we get into that, while we're mentioning matches that we played, I did play a match this Sunday. I played on Sunday with Logan. So if you've been watching, if you're interested on Lake Clan Legends, which is my son's and I channel, where we play Dungeons and Dragons, we also play Warhammer. We just started a crusade. We aren't going to record every fight, but we are going to try to record at least one per phase, just to at least keep it going and keeping it fresh on the channel. I'm playing Astra Militarum. If you remember from last week, I did ask for some help going over a decent list to start the crusade, right around 1,000 points. And then it actually worked beautifully. I think the score was 69-47 when we were done. And we gave up. Logan conceded in the 5th round. He just knew he wasn't going to get it. We ended up playing supply drop. He did well with his Chaos Space Marines. He made some mistakes, and that cost him the game. I'm going to be very clear about that. He forgot to shoot his entire second turn. And by the time we were already partway through the fight phase before he realized that he hadn't shot at all. So I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt, and anything that hadn't charged, he got to shoot with, just because charges could have been affected. We would have had to re-roll. I didn't want to do that. So anything that didn't charge, I allowed him to do his shots with, because I'm a good dad. And because I like the games to be nice and fair. So with that, we are going to get into this balanced data slate. Now, I didn't realize necessarily that it was coming out. I've been buried in my own menagerie of stuff that needs to be done. So I did my research last night and got some sleep on it, and here we are. We're going to take care of it. So basically, let's start at the beginning. There's no rules changes for the core rules. Nothing's altered from the last one. I don't even think there was a change in the last one, but I'd have to double check. There were no changes to the Sisters rules, but they got a big overhaul just recently as well. There were also no changes to Custodes or Admechs as far as the rules. And again, I'm going to get into the points a little bit later, so just bear with me while I run through some of this stuff. Um, Aldari got a ton of minutia changes, which kind of fixed a lot of things that were being overly spammed, and some things that made sense. So, like um, during your agile maneuvers, star engines give you the assault keyword. The star engines agile maneuver, they do give you assault for those weapons because that does give you the ability to advance. It is nice that they gave it to you, so therefore you can shoot when you advance. That's fair. I do like that one. The Skyborn Sanctuary rule they changed, just some of the wording in there, and I don't think that's a big change. It's just if you're eligible to fight, you can do the Skyborn Sanctuary. So if there's some reason why you're not eligible to fight, you can't use that ability. The aspect shrines, and this is something that I've always considered was the way it was supposed to be, but they no longer apply to the characters that are with the unit. Now, I don't know who was using it, that that Fuegan could get the aspect shrine ability from the fire dragons, but I mean, shame on you. That's not really the way it's supposed to be. I get it. It's tournament competition, stuff like that. People try to find all the loopholes in the rules to get that little edge, but kind of shame on you. I don't really see why that was a thing. But that's fine. That is supposed to be for just those aspect warriors. They did change. The other big change that they made with the Eldari is the fire and fade does exclude you from getting into transports, from embarking in transports. And again, I know it just wasn't written out one way or the other, so I think that's a fine change. It doesn't really do anything as for the game itself, except again, it's just that little balancing thing. And as an Eldari player, I don't really see a problem with it. I do understand how it was a little gamey, and I appreciate that they changed it and kind of worked that so that it's nice and even now. So that's the main ones for the Eldari. And of course, they got a Grotmas detachment, and we'll see how long this goes and see if I can get time to get into those Grotmas detachments. Probably if I do, it's just going to be a quick overview. And if that's something that maybe we want to get into, maybe we'll do next episode. We'll do just a discussion about those Grotmas episodes. So if you do hear that, leave a comment. Let me know what you want to do. And of course, as always, like, subscribe. And if you're listening to the audio version of this, give a rating or review. It goes far. So as far as the next couple factions, just going alphabetically, no changes to the Astra Militarum, no changes to the Black Templars, to the Blood Angels, Chaos Knights, Chaos Space Marines, Dark Angels, Death Guard. All those went through with no problem. There might be little glitches or little adjustments in the faction packs, but I didn't see any going through it. I'm just going down the actual balanced data slate list itself. Drakari got one change, and that was that the Venoms can transport the Hand of the Archon too. It's fair. It's a good thing. Hand of the Archon's good unit. I don't see why a Venom they couldn't go in a Venom before. So I appreciate that. The next thing is Emperor's Children. Emperor's Children got a little bit of change, and most of this or actually only one change, and that was the Rapid Evisceration Detachment. The detachment rule itself now includes the transport, not just the units that got out of the transport. So a little bit of a buff there, but I don't know how much you're applying that ability onto your transports, but it is nice that it does kind of include them, since it is a more transport heavy list or detachment. No changes for Gene Stealer Cult. Grey Knights, Imperial Agents, Imperial Knights, Leagues of Votann, Necrons, Orcs, Space Marines, Space Wolves, Tau. That's a big list. So, as far as I'm looking, we're in a pretty good state. I mean, look at all these ones that they didn't have to bother to do any rules changes on. And I think that's a good deal. Now, for the Thousand Suns, they really just did some housekeeping here. Psychic abilities such as Destiny's Ruin, Twist of Fate, Temporal Surge can now all be used by the Scintillating Legion. So I do like that. The range of the Rod of Sorcery has been changed to 18 inches for Kairos and the Lord of Change, and that just does balance out with their other abilities. So everything's pretty much, your lethal zone is 18 inches. So I think that's okay. I think that's a good choice. I think that's kind of a little bit of a buff for them. Not super one, but a little bit. And then, of course, really the changes for the Tyranids, there's no changes for the Tyranids or World Eaters. So that's it. I mean, those are the rules changes for these factions. I mean, what are we, 10 minutes in? 10 minutes to go over the whole list of what changed. And to be honest with you, when we did the one in summer, it was pretty much like 20, 25 minutes of just going over rules changes. So good job, Warhammer. You're doing a fantastic job. All those rules are in good shape, or if they're not, you're just not addressing them. So either way, we'll go with it. I'm going to say that they're doing a good job and everything's pretty nice and balanced. So time for a big bomb or something to change everything up, right? So speaking of which, let's get into the points. In the manufacturer field, or the field manual, they changed. We're going to go right down the list again. The Adeptus Sororitas got a ton of hits, but so generally speaking, 10 points one way or another doesn't make much of a difference to me. Yeah, I know when you're building your lists and trying to keep everything even, 10 points is a big deal. It's a matter of, sometimes it's a matter of changing, dropping a unit or adding a unit to your list. Sometimes it's a matter of dropping an enhancement that you really want. But usually you can kind of always work around it. So a lot of 10 point up 10 points units. The Canoness went up 10, Sacrosanct went up 10, the Hospitaller, the healer, Morven Vol went up 15 points, Sanctifiers went up 10 points, Retributors went up 15, and the Dominion Squad went up just 5, so that's not a big deal. Retributors also went up 15 to 120 points. That was probably about the hardest hit I think they got, was the Retributors, but I think it's all fair. It's a little tough. Nobody wants to see all their points go up with no downs. But I guess they're almost in a good place. Custodes got a lot of cuts. As far as prices, your custodians themselves went down 10, 15, 25, 30 points, depending on how many you're throwing out there. Your custodian guard went down 10 points for 4 or 5 models. And then your vigilators all went down in points, and your witch seekers all went down in points. Everything else seems to be pretty standard. Yep, everything else is pretty standard. So got a little easier to play custodes this for this era. Admech, they got a couple hits. I don't think they got any buffs though. No, they got a bunch of hits. Belisarius Call went up 35 points, but boy, that guy can do work. If you're playing Admech and you don't have him in your army, it's kind of tough. But I do like the he's still just over 200 points. I mean, it's still not terrible. But 35 points is a big leap. I don't really like when they do those big ones. It's kind of scary. Iron Striders went up 10 points per. The Taraxi Skystalkers went up 5 points per 5. And then your Infiltrators and Rust Stalkers both went up in points too. Not a big deal. I mean, I guess if you're playing them, it is a little bit, but I think it's okay. Eldari took a little bit of a hit again with all the rules changes that they kind of cut stuff on. They also put a lot of points on their units. Eldred went up 10 points. I think he's still worth it no matter what. Fire Dragons went up 20 points, basically evening them out. So five man's 120, and now 10 man are 240. I think both scenarios, whether you're running 5 or 10, you're still going to be wrecking a tank almost every turn. I know it is going to be harder for them to jump back in that transport, but I think you could still do it. I mean, they still have 3-up saves. Of course, the hard part is that 3 toughness. Swooping Hawks for 5-man squad went up 10, so they're now half the 10-man squad. That's fine. Storm Guardians went up 10 points. They're still 10 points a model. Not a huge deal. Lycus and Jane Czar both went up 15 points. Everybody's fielding them. They're pretty heavy on the Eldari side. Playing all those Phoenix Lords and their aspect wearers is kind of meta. So the fact that they upgraded those a little bit, I hate to say it, but I think they deserved it for the punishment that they give out. And of course, the Warp Spiders at a 5-man squad went up 10 points. Again, Lycus with 5 Warp Spiders can do some work, and there's a lot of shenanigans in there. I think it's kind of fair. They were being a bit abusive beforehand. Anari, no changes, no big deal. Astra Militarum. I don't think anything changed in Astra Militarum. Nothing at all changed in Astra Militarum. They must just be sitting in a nice place. And if my fight this weekend shows anything, I have to agree. They're really in a good place right now. They did get a new detachment, and like I said, maybe we'll get some time to talk about that in just a little bit. So stay tuned. Black Templars, they got some changes. Castellan went up 10 points, but the Crusader went down 10. The Crusader Ancient, went down 10 points. Emperor's Champion went up 10 points, but the Exactor went down 10 points. The Gladiator Valiant went down 10 points. I didn't realize. I didn't catch that on my first read through. So that's not bad because that one's 150, where the other Gladiators are 160. And then the Repulsor Executioner went up 15 points to a whopping 235. So if you're playing that, that might be a hard sell on that one. 15 points is a big adjustment for one tank. And 235, I could see. I mean, if you're embedded in it, I think you're still going to play it. You'll find the point somewhere. The only thing that changed in Blood Angels was the Sanguinor went down 10 points. So Blood Angels, it's a good day. So you're pretty balanced. You also got a Grotmas detachment. Chaos Demons. I really want to say good things about Chaos Demons. They're still stuck in their index. I've heard rumors that they're not going to be getting in Codex. I hate to see that because I really enjoy seeing the Chaos Demons. But Kairos Fate Weaver, the Lord of Change, they both went up in points. Keeper Secrets went down 30 points. But I think it was a little high. it was even for the other graded demons, but I don't think it had enough. It didn't bring enough to make it that high. Rodriguez went up 15 points. He's one tough little bugger. So yeah, he deserves it. And Chilaxi Hellbane got 40 points cheaper, but she got hit with that nerf bat, I think last time or the time before that, and she went way up. So I think they're just bringing her back down to kind of even it out. Demon Incursion, one of your enhancement change points, the Endless Gift, it went down 15 points. Not a big deal there. Chaos Knights got a little bit of a mix up. Desecrators up 10 to spoilers. I'm sorry, Desecrators down 10 to spoilers up 15. The Ruinators up 20. I would have to look at these and know which ones are which. But I think they're okay. I think every list is going to survive. Your Chaos Space Marines got a little bit of help, especially for the ones that they play that are being played. Forge Feed went down 10 points. Love that. Chaos Lord and Terminator armor went down 10 points. That's a good thing as well. And of course, Fabius Bio went up 15 points. I think for what he does, he should be about 100 points. So I'm not really too upset about that. 100 points for him and all that he can do for your army. He should be 100 points, in my opinion. Dark Angels got a little bit of a change. I think it's all good. Azrael went up 10 points. He's still worth it. If you're playing Azrael in a Dark Angels army, which at 2,000 points, if you're not playing Azrael in a Dark Angels army, look, I'm a Dark Angels player. I believe that guy is worth easy 125 points for what he can do. He's good in melee. He's got a good ranged attack. He's got the 4-up invulnerable save, aura. For what he can do, I think 125 points is good. I mean, Belial's 85 points. It's a dude in Terminator armor. Asmodai, Lazarus, 70 points. They're cheap. I'm surprised they didn't get hit at all. But I don't think a lot of people are playing them where everybody throws Azrael into the mix. The good thing is your Black Knights went down 10 points per 3. So that's a really good hit buff if you're playing Ravenwing. If you're not, you probably don't care all that much. I think 160 points for 6 Black Knights is actually a really good price for them. So they might go back into my list. Death Guard Land Raiders went down 20 points. And Rodriguez went up. And that's pretty much it. So Death Guard players are pretty even because I know some people are throwing Land Raiders out there, but I don't know anybody that's really throwing Rodriguez out there. I think that was just a cost of living increase there. Death Watch. The only one that went up for Death Watch is the Indomitor kill team. Not a big deal. Well, I mean, it is because they're up 15 points for 10 models. So it's a little bit more expensive for them. I can't say that I know anybody that's really playing the Indomitor kill team, but I really don't know that many people that are playing Death Watch at the moment. So I'm going to just give it to that. Drukhari only got 2 changes. Your Ravagers went up in price down in price by 5 points, and your Reavers went up in price for a 6-man squad to 140. I think just balancing issues. I think it's okay. Emperor's Children. Emperor's Children got the best and the worst upgrades. Maybe. I don't know. What do I know? Chaos Spawn got cheaper. The Terminators got cheaper. The regular Demon Prince got cheaper, but the Demon Prince with wings got more expensive. Keeper Secrets got cheaper. Shalaxi Hellbane got cheaper. I know a lot of people were running that Demon Prince with wings, and they're going to be second guessing it now. 215 points for that guy. I kind of want to throw the other Demon Prince in there and see if I can squeeze something else into there, or an enhancement or something like that, because it's really 35 points difference now between the two. So that's quite a bit. Your Gene Stealer Colt had no changes, so they're in great shape. Grey Knights got the good end of the stick. And not a lot. Your Interceptor squads got cheaper by 5 points for 5, 10 points for 10. The Purgation squad, 10 points for 5, 10, and then down 20 points for 10 of them. So 115, 230. I think that just kind of keeps them in line. Good for them. Grey Knights win on that one. Your Agents of the Imperium, there's no changes. And, just so, I've been seeing, and of course, I picked up one of these box sets. Oh, okay. There you go. Jeff says it's mortal wounds on the charge on the Winged Demon Prince that makes him a must take over the one without wings. 215 points is still kind of, you're definitely paying the price for them though. But what I was saying, the Imperial Agents, I'm starting to see more people online that are playing them, and like I'm loving the models. I like the feel of them, and I picked up the one box set, the Hereticus box set with the sisters in it. And the models are amazing. They really, really are. I'm enjoying getting them together. In fact, because I'm working on that guard army, I decided to get that exaction squad just so that I have a viable kill team to throw in there. I'm going to use them as for my kill team. But of course, I got to get them glued together and painted and stuff like that. But I really am starting to look at these guys in a new light, and I think a lot of people really dismissed them early on, but I think they're getting better. They're starting to prove themselves, I guess would be the right way to say it. But no changes in points, so they really must be in a decent spot, and I'm going to go with that, and I really kind of I'm okay with it. I've been running the stuff that I've been playing with on New Recruit and building lists and keeping track of some lists and stuff like that, seeing where to go. And there's still some models that I want to buy and build before I add them to anything, but I think they're viable. So Imperial Knights also got a good day with points. Basically, the Crusader, the Defender, the Errant, the Gallant, and the Warden all went down 10 points. So if you're playing all of them, which I don't think, but if you are playing all of them, you get some more points to throw around to armorers or enhancements or whatnot. Leagues of Votann, they got, I think, a mutually positive. The only thing that really went up in points was the cyber implant enhancement under the Brandfast Oath Band. I'm going to tell you, I don't really know. I probably should have looked, but I don't remember what the big one is that everyone's playing. But everything other than that, the Evaluator went down 10 points. The name character Bury He went down 15 points. The Steeljacks went down 5 and 10 points for 3 and 6 models. That's the ones with the heavy vulcanite disintegrators. Well, actually, both of the melee ones went down 5 and 10 points as well. Call went down 5 points to 65, and the Sagittar went down. I think that's good because they kind of bumped the Sagittars up a little bit, and I think it's better now. They're bringing them back down to balance it out. Necrons in a great place, no changes. Orcs are doing fantastic. They're in a really good place too. Space Marines got a little bit of change here for your basic Space Marines. Your Athan Shan went up 25 points to 110. Your aggressors all got cheaper. So 3 aggressors went down to 95, 6 aggressors went down to 190. Eradicators dropped 10 points per 3. Kasara Khan dropped 10 points if you're a White Scars player. Your basic lieutenant went down 10 points. That's always a good thing. Kato Sicarius went down to 25 and is now under 100 points. So if you're looking at playing Ultramarines with that new Kato model, he's at a good price. Under 100 is always good for a captain in most cases. And excuse me, your Centurion Devastators, they are sure raising the price on those guys. 350 points for 6 of those guys. Yikes. That hits a little deep, but I guess if you want that kind of firepower, you're going to pay that kind of price. The Vanguard vets with jump packs got a little bit pricier, only by 5 points for 5 or 10 for 10. So they're actually in a really good spot. 100 and 200. So 100 points for 5, 200. If I remember correctly, interceptors, where are they? Oh, assault intercessors with jump packs are 170 for 10. So Vanguard vets are a little more pricey. I'm not really sure. I know there are some people that are playing them, but I don't see that many. Your Vitrix Guard, 3 models went down in price. 6 models went up in price. They're basically 120 models for each 3 of them. Your Storm Speeder Thunderstrike, which is the one that I play. When I play it, actually went down in price, but I think that went up in price one of the last balanced data slates. So I think that's just a bring back adjustment because they really did push it too far up. 150 was way too much for that. So that's it for Space Marines. Now we're going to move up to the Space Wolves. I think they got some good stuff here all the way around. Bjorn went down 10 points. Love Bjorn. Gray Hunters went down 15 points. You're not a Space Wolf player if you're not playing Gray Knights or Gray Hunters. Sorry, don't hate me. And 165 points for them is a good price. We'll definitely take that 15 points down. Iron Priest went down 5 points, and I believe that matches them up with a regular Tech Marine. And Jeff, of course, says Gray Hunter point reduction is much needed. And quite welcome. We're very happy with that. Murder Fang also went down 10 points. So if you're playing Murder Fang, and of course the Venerable Dreadnought went down 10 points. It looks like those are all old school Dreadnought chassis. So all the Dreadnought chassis wow, I want to keep calling them Gray Knights, but they're Space Wolves. They're all Space Wolves. Sorry, Jeff. Yeah, so all the Dreadnought bodies went down 10 points. Now, are they in line? Does that make them in line with Space Marines? Let me just take a peek here real quick. if I can find it. Because they're just dreadnoughts, right? Dreadnought's 135 in Space Marines. Venerable Dreadnoughts 130. So they're actually cheaper than a regular Dreadnought. Go Space Wolves. All right. Tau. Tau got some interesting changes, and I'm not really sure where it came from. I know the Skyray went up in 10 points because it's starting to see some serious overuse, and I'm okay with that. 10 points is a good adjustment. Breachers went down 10 points, so they're now under 100. We like that. They're 90 points. Strike teams also went down points, so they're down to 70. So if you're playing Tau, your list just got a little bit cheaper. And then some of your toys also got cheaper. Storm Surge went down 40 points. That's fair. It probably needed it. But like I said, the Skyray went up and the Riptide went up 10 points as well. So Riptide at 200 points, I think that's pretty fair. I don't see it in action all that much, but it is good to see that they are still watching it in balance. Thousand Suns, they got some changes, mostly good, which is kind of good because they got some hits last time. Of course, Kairos Fate Weaver and the Lord of Change went up 25 points and 20 points respectively. Now for all the things that went down in points. 3 Zangor Enlightened went down 10 points to 45. So need to get them for my Thousand Suns. I just haven't picked them up yet. The Zangor Enlightened with the Great Bows are down 5 points to 55. The Cast Predator went down 10 points. Forge Fiend went down points. Mauler Fiend went down 10 points. The Mulith Vortex Beast went down 5 points, which Logan, I'm sure, would not be happy with because he really hates fighting against that thing. Rubric Marines went down 5 points for 5 of them. Stayed the same for 10. And I play mine couple squads of 5, couple squads of 10, so that'll net me 10 points. And then the basic sorcerers down 5 points. I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Thousand Suns. Tyranids, and I've heard no end of this from my son. Tyranids, they got Carnifexes got 25 points cheaper each. So now he's on the list of I want to get Carnifexes for my army. He's going to have to buy them. That's all there is to it. I'm okay with it. He's just going to have to buy them. Screamer Killer went down 10 points. I think that's good for him too. What's he, 125 now? So he's actually not much more than a single Carnifex, though. He's a pretty good beast. And then lastly, World Eaters. And again, Angron went down 20 points. He took a big hit last time, I think. Goremongers went down 10 points. The Lord on the Juggernaut went up 15. I can't be terribly upset about it. He's a beast of a model. And just over 100 points. It doesn't really hurt him that much. The Slaughterbound up 15 points. I don't know. You might see some changes there. I know some people that are playing the Slaughterbound, and I don't know if pushing it to 100 points would be that much of a change, or if that's something that they would completely drop out on. So, and they got a couple enhancement changes, which is the Berserker Glaive and the Helm of Brazen Ire. Both went up 10 points. And that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go over Legends because I don't think anything changes in Legends ever. They are Legend for a reason. Let me take a quick skim here real quick. But I don't think there is. No, I don't see anything. Okay. So nothing really changed there. So where are we at here? We're about 40 minutes in. Let's say let's tackle one of these Grotmas ones. Which one do we want to? Let's start with what do we have in first order. So the veteran company, the grizzled veterans for the Astra Militarum. These is very interesting to me. They're sending me in a loop here. Hold on one second. Hold please while I address this. Where'd it go? I lost it. It's gone forever. Hold on. Are they not in order here? What's going on? New. Wolves. Yes. In theory. And angels. There it is. That's weird. Okay. Anyway. Sorry about that. So the new grizzled company detachment does give you add +1 to the number of orders each officer model from your army can issue, as stated on their data sheet. So extra orders going around, especially if you're playing a lot of infantry or a lot of tanks. You can kind of spread those around. Oh, it's just Astromel officers. I don't know if that applies to tanks. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't have it down here. So I can look later. But while an Astra Militarum unit from your army is affected by an order, each time the model in that unit makes an attack, you also get to reroll hits of 1. If the target of that attack is within range of an objective marker, you get to reroll wound rolls of 1 as well. And a couple things that I really like in here. Just one of the cool things, the enhancement. My favorite lore-wise is the abhuman detail, and that you put on a commissar. That allows him to join a Ogren squad or a Bulgren squad in your declare battle formations. And what a fantastic thematic enhancement that they put into that. Because of course I go from way back, and one of the cool rules for the Imperial Guard, the Astra Militarum back then, was the only way you could get Ogrins into a transport was if a commissar was kind of pushing them in there. So, because they were afraid of the dark. So I'm so glad to see that there's an enhancement where a commissar can lead that. I think that's a fantastic ability that they gave into this detachment. The Aquilin Eye is kind of cool. That gives you an extra order, which is target weak spot. And each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets an enemy unit within 12 inches, you can improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. Again, that's a pretty good one. Your Spec Ops veteran, that gives you an order called Move to the Shadows, and each time a ranged attack targets a unit, until those attacks are resolved, they're considered having stealth, so which means they're harder to hit. And then the Laud Hauler is for an officer, and each time you select a unit for the officer model to issue an order, it could be 12 inches instead of 6 inches. Fantastic. I'm excited to try and play this one. The stratagems for it is snap to it. Okay, Astra Militarum is a faction keyword. I didn't know if the tank commanders had the Astra Militarum officer, because that's in bold print. So the stratagems, snap to it. Basically, at the start of any phase, your officer can issue an order as if it were your command phase. No retreat is basically if your unit is within range of an objective marker. Hold on, my eyes aren't so good. See if I can blow that up just a little bit. Trying to read it, I can't read. If your unit is within range of an objective marker, the objective marker remains under your control, even if you have no models within range of it, until your opponent controls it at the start of start or end of a phase. So, that's a pretty good one. Basically, sticky objectives. Veteran sharpshooters is your shooting phase, and until the end of the phase, ranged weapons gets ignore cover. I like that one. Big fan. Purging fire is in your shooting phase, and if your unit is with range objective marker until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped with units have the lethal hits ability. Mordian Minute is a good one there, and that's in your shooting phase as well. This is just for infantry. Until the end of your phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, you improve the strength characteristic by 1. I kind of like that one. That was pretty good. And of course, additional armor is the last one, and that's your opponent's shooting phase. After an enemy unit has selected a target, you reduce their armor penetration by 1. So, not a bad choice. Let me see if I can pop in here real quick just to see, just to sake my own curiosity here. If I go into here, bear with me just a moment. I'm going to go into character. They have Astra Militarum Imperium Officer Vehicle Smoke Character Squadron, where a Castellan. Okay, so I guess they would, because they both have Astra Militarum Imperium Character Officer. Okay, so they're 2 separate keywords. The way they were written on the sheet here, I thought they were separate. So I just didn't want to get that wrong. All right. So that being that, what was the next one? So let's hit one more while we're here. Space Wolf's got a new one, which is Saga the Great Wolf. I'm kind of excited about this one, and maybe we'll hit the other ones on the next episode, as we'll see what else we can get in. So you do have the Master of Wolves detachment rule. At the start of your command phase, you can select one of the hunting packs listed below. Until the start of the next command phase, that hunting pack is active, and its effects apply to all Adeptus Asterius units from your army. You can only have 1 hunting pack. So you have choices of 3 here. Right? 3, yeah. Encircling Jaw, which allows the unit can re-roll advance rolls and charge rolls. So if you're looking to get up close and personal, that's pretty decent. Your Hunter's Eye, each time a model in that unit makes a range attack, you can add +1 to the hit roll. Great for shooting. And your Ferocious Strikes, each time this unit is selected to fight, select either lethal hits or sustain hits 1 ability. Until the end of the phase, weapons equipped by that models in this unit have the selected ability. That's selected to fight. Okay, so that's just in the fight phase. So basically, if you're charging, if you're going to stand back and shoot hunter's eye all day long, if you're on the charge, if you need to charge, and you're planning to fight, it's really going to depend on which one. If you're afraid you're not going to get there, encircling jaws gives you that reroll. That would be great. If you're definitely going to get in there, you want to throw in those lethal hits or sustained hits. So the ferocious strikes would be better. I think that's kind of adaptive. I like it. It's kind of like Gladius, but not really. Gladius seems to be more in a shooting capacity, where this is a little more melee capacity. I kind of like it. I think it works great. Howling Onslaught gives you this ability once per battle when selecting a hunting pack for the Master of Wolves detachment. If Logan Grimnar model from your army is on the battlefield, you can select a hunting pack that you have already selected in this battle. And then, wait, hold on. I lost my spot. Sorry. You can select a hunting pack that you have already selected this battle. Okay. So your army can include Space Wolves units, but cannot include Adeptus Astari units drawn from any other chapter, obviously. Yeah, and Jeff says it's the Space Wolf version of the vanilla Gladius. I agree. It really looks that way too. In fact, he kind of told me that yesterday. So, so you got a couple enhancements, which is Grimnar's Mark. That's for a Terminator Captain model only. Once per battle round, from the second battle round onward, you can target the bearer's unit with the rapid ingress or heroic intervention stratagem for 0 CP. In the declaration formation step, the bearer can be attached to a Wolfguard Terminator's unit. Hey, I give credit where credit's due. So that'll give you a captain with the Wolfguard Terminators, if you're looking for that. Howl Maw is for a Wolf Priest, and at the start of the fight phase, you can select one enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer. That unit must take a battle shock, subtracting 1 from the result. Not too bad. Chariots of the Storm, Adeptus Asteri's model only. After both players have deployed their army, select up to 3 Adeptus Asteri's units from your army and redeploy them. That's always fantastic. I kind of always like that ability. Kind of messes with people a little bit. And then Skjald's Foretelling. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but last time I checked, I was not Scandinavian. Wolfguard Battle Leader model only. While the bearer is leading a unit, weapons equipped by the model have the Lance special rule. And Lance is always helpful, so I have to see what the price is on that, but it's probably worth it. And as far as the stratagems go, the Foe Foreseen, this is your opponent's shooting phase, selects one unit until the end of the phase. Each time an attack that targets your unit worsens the armor penetration attack by 1. That's always a positive. And they are, I did forget to mention for the guard one, these are all 1 CP each, 1 command point each. Grimnar's command is your command phase, targets 1 unit. Select 1 hunting pack from the Master of the Wolves detachment rule. Until the start of the next command phase, that hunting pack for your unit instead of any other hunting pack. So basically, you can change the hunting pack of 1 unit. That's always a good one for 1 CP. So if you got everyone else is going to fight, but you got devastators in the back or something like that that are going to fire, or even just, gray hunters that are going to stand there stand their ground and shoot or something like that, you can give them that. Your Fenrisian Ferocity is the next one, which is your movement or charge phase. You select one mounted or walker unit. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes a movement of any kind. We're going to shorten that up. It can move within engagement range of an enemy, but cannot end a normal move advances within engagement range. So basically, you can move through a unit, you can move instead of going around or something like that. That's always kind of situational, but I like that it's available. Next one is Unrelenting Hunters. Sorry. And that's in your movement phase, and until the end of the movement phase, that's on one unit. It is eligible to declare charge in a turn in which it fell back. Very Space Wolfy, like it. Eye of the Pack is in your shooting phase, targets one unit, and you can add one to the wound roll. Simple. That's a good one as well. Battle Instincts, last one. This is in your opponent's shooting phase. The Space Wolves unit in your army that's been selected. And your unit may make a normal move up to a die 6 inches. So that's basically that reaction movement. And I think that one's a good one too. It's kind of situational, but with just one unit. But it is nice that you can drop back or move around a corner so you don't get charged, stuff like that. So you can drop the charge on them. So I think I'm going to stop there. We'll hit some of those other ones on the next episode. Definitely enjoy both of these. I'd like to see both of them on the table. I'm definitely going to try that Grizzled Company. I think it works really good. So if you have any comments for what you heard tonight, anything that you want to add to, anything you want to tell me that I'm wrong or whatever, just jump in there and let me know that where we're at. And I really appreciate everybody that listens. And this is Todd from Table Ready Painting, and we're here to help you and your models become table ready. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.